Command Line Arguments and Variable Length Argument Lists by Gilmer, Georgia College and State University. Hi, I'm Karen. I created this video for Georgia College and State University. In this video, we'll first discuss command line arguments. I'll show you how to invoke a Java program from your operating system's command line. Next, we'll discuss variable length arguments. I'll tell you what a variable length argument is, and we'll look at some code examples. When you invoke a Java program from the operating system command line, you can specify arguments that are placed into the main method of the program. When the method returns, it can determine the number of arguments that were passed to it and run accordingly. Command line arguments. Public static void main string args. Why do you always use this line at the beginning of your code? What does it do? This statement is your static main method, and we're going to focus on what's inside the parentheses. Underlined in red, the string args is a declaration of a parameter named args. Args is the name for a string array. You could name it anything you wanted, but the standard convention is to name it args. The array that is passed into the args parameter comes from the operating system command line. So here's some example code. I have my public class command line, my main method with string args in the parentheses, and then I have a for loop. For int I equals 0, I less than args.length, I++, I'm going to print out args at element I. If this program is compiled and executed by the operating system with the following command, Java command line, how does this work, its output will be each word on a separate line. How, new line, does, new line, this, new line, work. We reach this output because any items on the command line separated by spaces and after the name of the class are considered to be the arguments passed into the main method. How would be argument at element 0, does would be args at element 1, this would be at element 2, and work with a question mark would be at args 3. According to the for loop, each word should be printed out on a new line. So now that we've talked about how this works, let's see a demonstration from the command line. To run the command line, I'm simply going to type cmd, hit enter. It comes up and we're located at user/Karen, that's me. I'm going to change directory, cd, and I've copied the address where my command line.java file is located. So I'm going to change the directory to there. Now that the directory is successfully changed, I'm going to enter my command, Java command line, it's the name of my file, and then I'll enter how does this work. Now, like we said in the slides, they should print out each word on a separate line, and it does. Let's talk a little bit about variable length arguments inside your code. It's possible to write a method that can take a variable number of arguments. A method that can accept any number of arguments when it's called is called a variable length argument. When the method runs, it can determine the number of arguments that was passed to it accordingly. Use ellipsis following the data type to indicate that this parameter is a vararg parameter, meaning that it can take a variable number of arguments. So let's look at some example code. I have my method public static int sum, and then in parentheses the argument int ellipsis numbers. This argument indicates that it accepts an array of integers numbers with a variable number of arguments. Inside my method, I have an accumulator variable named total that's initialized to 0, and an enhanced for loop to add up the numbers in the array. I then return my total, which will return the sum or total of all arguments passed into the number array. Example method calls for this method would be sum 10 and 20, or sum 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Notice that both of these method calls use variable numbers of arguments. You can also write a method to accept a variable number of object references as arguments. Our example code shows a method that accepts a variable number of references to bank account objects. The method returns the total of the object's balance fields. So here we have the sample code out of the book. I declare my class, public class var args demo, declare my static method, public static void main string args. I declare a double total variable to hold the total balance. I then go ahead and create 3 different bank account objects, account 1, account 2, and account 3, and initialize them with $100, $500, and $1,500. I should add that I'm only allowed to create these bank account objects because I've already made my bank account class, and it's saved in the same folder as my varargs demo class. So that's the reason that I can create these bank account objects. So once I've created the 3 objects with the 3 different amounts, I'm first going to call the total balance method and pass to it just one account, account 1. I'm going to store the total balance into our variable total. Then I'm going to print out total plus total. Next, what I could do is call the same method, total equals total balance, and this time I'm going to pass 3 arguments to it. Notice how the same method here was used to pass just one bank account object here and all 3 here. So let's take a look at this total balance method. Scroll down. Public static double, meaning that it'll return our double for total. So public static double total balance, and the arguments, the important part, it's going to accept a bank account object. Here's our ellipsis, which means that it will accept a variable number of bank account objects, and I'm going to call it accounts. Inside this method, I have my accumulator variable, double total, set equal to 0, and then I just use an enhanced for loop to add all of the values in the accounts array. That's right, the accounts array. This bank account ellipsis accounts creates an array called accounts to hold a variable number of bank account arguments. So we're looping through the accounts array, and each time we're adding the account object, which is our temporary variable for each element in the array. We're going to add that object to total every time by saying account object dot get balance. And again, I can only use this get balance method because I have it declared here in my bank account method. So the last thing that my method does is it returns the total. So up here, when I call it with just account 1 in it, account 1 had $100 in it, so it should print out the total of $100. And when I call it here, it should print out 100 plus 500 plus 1500. So it should print out 2100. Go ahead and compile our code, run it, and as you can see, it printed out a total of $100 and $2,100. I hope this video has answered any questions you might have had about command line arguments or variable length arguments. Good luck implementing these techniques in your own code.